Hello.
Hey Ralph, how's it
Hey,
going?
okay, finally. Sorry about all the confusion.
No problem.
Okay, can you see me well and hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you and see you well.
Okay. Okay, really, well, just let me know in whatever direction you want to go into, and then we can go from there.
Okay, I actually want to record this call.
Okay, I can do that actually. Let me see. Because, let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm recording it, so when it's finished, I'll just send it to you.
Okay, awesome. Well, the direction, I'm just amazed that we're on the call. You seem a pretty busy man.
Yeah, well, really, I've been traveling. I move around a lot, so it's just a time difference. But I'm always here. That's what I love to do. It's just synchronizing everything.
Right. Like being in the flow.
Oh yeah. You have to just take one step at a time.
It was just amazing. I don't even know. I watched your YouTube videos and it was from there.
Okay.
So I've been following you supporting you for about, I would say, about a year, a strong year.
Wow,
So
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And how about you? How's your journey right
how's
now?
what?
How's your journey? Where are you right now?
And like any like a specific like more like two decisions. Like what do you mean by that?
Oh, just location wise.
Oh, I'm in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Altoona. Yeah, I plan on moving to Florida within the summer and around July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, like I said, just let me know whatever you wanted to go into, whatever you wanted to dive into.
You see, I really didn't. I had a few questions, but there was nothing that I specifically wanted like to dive into. I have a few questions on my phone.
Okay.
Yes. So I had four questions that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Was there a point in your life when you did not like anyone or yourself?
Oh yeah. I talk about it all the time. There was a time where I hated myself. It was
Uh,
hard because I was born in London,
right,
and growing, I went to school. It was almost like all white school nearly.
right,
So at that time, it was confusing for me. My sister's a Capricorn. For her, it was okay. She gets on with everyone. But for me, I was like so conscious all of a sudden, like, oh my goodness. So for a long time, I mean, the people I was connecting with, they were great. But how I saw myself, I thought, gosh, I didn't fit in. And then some of my other friends, they were in like state schools, where it's all mixed up, and for me, I was having a whole nother experience. So for a long time, I was doubting myself, I was judging myself, and I remember telling one friend at the school that, oh, maybe it's because I'm black. And he was laughing. He was like, get out of here. What are you talking about? So, and I was like, no, it's true. So it was like, you know, I mean, it wasn't easy. But, through time, you just learn how to love yourself as, that was in my earlier stages, where you're trying to find yourself. And nowadays, you know, I mean, you just have to enjoy life. I mean, nowadays it's 100% self-love. But that's why I can connect with so many people because I might know what you're going through.
right.
Because when you're in that stage, it's difficult to even see outside of what you're going through. And in those days, there was no YouTube, there was no inspirational talk. So for a long time, I was in just the toilet. looking at myself and it was crazy, but at the same time, I needed that. I mean, that's why I can connect with so many different people because I've had so many different experiences.
Wow.
you know.
That's awesome. I'm actually a Capricorn.
Okay, okay, I'm
Yeah.
Pisces, so we get along just fine.
That it's pretty funny because my younger sister is a Pisces.
Okay,
Yeah. I have an older sister, a Taurus. I'm a Capricorn, the middle child. Then I have a younger sister who's a Pisces.
okay, that's awesome.
And and oh yeah, I said, how do you put your website under your pictures on Instagram? How do you edit those like that?
Oh yeah, well, I use After Effects. It's a program, Adobe After Effects, and
Okay.
basically, you can once you put it in After Effects, you can customize it. You can
Okay,
add
so it's
words
called
to it.
After Effects.
After Effects, yeah. You can use
Adobe.
Photoshop, but I use After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and you can do amazing things. Sometimes I use the video pictures. I do that in After Effects as well.
Okay. So After Effects is like one word, a compound word.
Yeah, After Effects, yeah.
Okay. Then is Smart your real last name? Really your last name?
Oh yeah, yeah. Ralph O'Crefel Smart. The middle bit, I just use Ralph Smart, but Ralph
Wow.
O'Crefel Smart. Yeah,
So Smart is your last name.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's so unique.
yeah, yeah. Well, for me, um, I really identify more with the symbol Infinite Waters because the moment I started to do that is the moment everything took off. I used to go by the name of the Kemet Prince One. I don't know if you know about ancient Egypt. It was
A
called
little bit
Kemet before.
from you, I do.
Yeah, yeah. So that Egypt, the original name is Kemet. So
Okay.
I was inspired by Egypt, so I said Kemet Prince. But with the Infinite Waters, that's more of a symbol. And if you're also into like getting your own thing off the ground, think of symbols even instead of your name because once you connect with the symbol, now you start connecting with all kinds of people who also identify with that symbol.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely about that. I'm all about just entrepreneurship and being your own individual. I feel like a lot of conformity in
Oh
my
yeah.
generation. There's a lot of information that can confuse us, but on the other side, there's clarity. So I'm definitely about being an original and not being a copy. I like to speak. You definitely inspire me because you're such a great speaker. Like I'm definitely into speaking, and you're so passionate about everything you like. You can just feel it every single time. It's just like from your heart space.
Thanks a lot. Well, for me, once again, when I first started, it was difficult. On YouTube, not a lot of people were talking, and the people that were talking, no one was watching them.
Right,
So I said, okay, who can I look up to? And there was really only a few people, if any, that were doing anything back in the day. Everyone was just doing, silly videos, and that stuff will always get you millions of views.
right,
So that's the easiest thing. It's like now on YouTube, people might want to do a prank because you say, okay, that gets 500,000 views in a day.
right,
But someone who's talking about loving yourself, you only get 30 views. So who wants to do that? you know?
right,
So nowadays, the person that talks about self love can get a million views, but they've got to know how to do it. Like I always say, no one is listening to anything you're talking about at all. They're listening to your energy. It's the energy behind that matters.
right,
So you could be talking about anything. If you've got it, then people will still be interested. It's the same thing if, when you're starting your thing, just as long as you have the great ideas, that's really what's going to attract people. A lot of the times people think, well, it's what I say, I have to get the facts right. No one cares about that.
right,
Deep down, everyone just wants to have fun. you know, that's the truth. That's why, you have these viral videos. of people doing silly stuff. But deep down, that's what we're all attracted to anyway.
Right.
But you see, the thing is that what's gonna last longer? You see, if you put out great content which is also entertaining, people can always go back and look at it in the archives. Just a silly video, it will give you a quick laugh, but it won't help you.
Right.
In the long run, it
Like
won't
the
give you
personal
those
development.
tools, right? So
Definitely.
so whenever you confuse, in what you're doing, when you fuse your ideas with just the juice, what I call the juice, where you make it entertaining, you also tap into that kind of viral network,
That like balance
that
almost.
balance,
Okay.
you know, and then it's over.
It's over. Game
It's
over.
game over, game over.
Wow. I had this one question. I'm not as confident in asking this question, but I'm gonna still do it. If you were me, how would you go about figuring out life?
Yeah, well, it depends in what context. Like, would you wanna know in terms of knowing what you have to do, your purpose, and following your vision through?
Right.
Right. Well, I always say if you're starting from square one, you have to be very careful of the company you keep. See, that's the reason why I can do what I'm doing, because every day my mom's always been supportive, even though she was worried why I was spending so much time in the garden. But most of the time, I never had anyone to tell me don't do that. So
Right.
when I was making videos, no one said, "Oh, that video's too long." I was just putting it out, and then I saw people started to resonate with it. But whenever you have a bunch of friends, I have friends, but sometimes growing up, I had to act a certain way around them. I couldn't dive deep. I couldn't talk about certain things because the conversation would come to a grinding halt. I would go to the house, we would just watch MTV or whatever, but there wasn't an opportunity to sort of, go other places. So, um, those friends are still great, but you really need to be around a supportive environment. That's first and foremost. And many times it's tough in this day and age. It's very difficult because what you're dealing with is trends.
Right. I understand.
To find yourself, the main thing is you have to find yourself in the trend, and the only way to do that is to create your own trend, create your own brand. And the only way to do that is through practice, where you become so comfortable in what you're doing every single day that now you become it. It's all about really creating a signature.
Like infinite waters,
Right,
diving deep
right.
once again.
That's the whole thing, because when you create a signature, then that's it. People know you by your signature. Nobody can imitate that. Nobody can take that from you. But whenever
Right.
you're trying to copy someone else, you're only going to be a poor imitation. You see, it's just like music. Everyone wants to do the same song as the next person until eventually people get tired of it. But the musician who is the most original always goes far.
Right.
Always goes far, because people that you can't replace that.
Definitely.
So it doesn't really matter what you talk about. If as long as you've got your signature, you can talk about anything as long as you want. You see,
Wow.
because now we're in the age of um, you. People want to know about your story. The middleman has been taken out. If you're talking about being an entrepreneur, you can do everything by yourself now. With the right people around you, with the right team. But people want to see you. People don't want a corporation. They don't want to be sold anything. People don't want to buy anything off you.
Right.
What are you going to give to them? You see, because ideas are the most precious things in the world. So once you start sharing these ideas with people, once again you're putting value into their hand. Value given is value received back. Many times you find videos, they may have millions of views, but you find they don't have a community. the people that put out those videos, if they were to ask the people that watch those videos, hey, help me out, you wouldn't find any feedback, support. But if you're touching people, that's really what you want. You want a community. You want
Yeah.
someone, and that's the only way to create that is where, it's that heart-based connection, and trusting in yourself to say, okay, every single day, people are putting out information in the news every single hour. They're not stopping. They're doing it. So you have to become a content creator, not a content consumer only, but a content creator. You've got to put out material, videos, blogs, websites, because Instagram, once you're doing that, now you're carrying your vision, but more so, other people are going to be sharing your vision as well. Many times, a lot of people, they've got so many great ideas that just get left in their head. you know, that just get left in their head. And this is really the age, we're the first generation of the internet. If you can imagine what's going to happen in 10 years to the content you put out now, it's going to expand and expand. We don't even realize how lucky we are. A lot of people have, they've cottoned on to say, wait a minute, I'm going to make the most of this content creation stuff right now, because in 10 years it's going to be at a whole nother level.
Definitely. So
And
how
what
how
would
do
you?
you and Preston Smiles meet?
Oh yeah, well, I'm in London at the moment. I just came back from LA. I go there. I was there for 3 months. I go
So
back and forth there.
you were in London for 3 months?
No, in LA, LA. I'm in London at the moment.
Oh, so
Yeah,
Preston Smile lives in LA.
yeah. He
Okay.
lives in LA, so I always go back to LA a couple of times a year. I live between there and London, so he's from LA, and he's a great brother once again. Someone who he's putting out that message, but once again, like, he's got his own signature. He talks with music and stuff.
Right.
Spoken word, and that's powerful. But the way he does it is different from how other people are doing it.
Unique.
So we connected through Facebook a while ago, and we just chopped it up in LA, and that's the best thing to do. You got to connect right now.
Right. So I thought you lived in Venice Beach, in Venice.
Oh, I do. When I go to LA, I live there.
Okay.
I got my things here in London, so I'm always back and forth.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, LA, Venice is one of the best places. I wouldn't say it's the best. There's no best place, but it's a great place to sort of be yourself. Venice Beach, and just relax. But also, you realize there's not really a perfect place. LA is great, but it also has its drawbacks. In
Okay.
LA, everyone's busy, and everyone is just about sometimes, making money and all of these, which is great, but you have to be very grounded in LA. LA is not a place where you just can go to sleep easily, because it's
Right.
all about the Benjamins in Hollywood, you know. But at the same time, the other part of LA is where you meet a lot of people who are amazing, people who are into nature, eating good, and it's a great place. You can never get bored in LA. That's the great thing about Venice. There's never a dull moment. It's like a party, party on the beach every day. But the great thing is that you could be in LA, you could be, it doesn't matter where you are, just as long as your vision. I didn't go to LA, my vision took me to LA.
Mm,
You see what I'm trying to say? I mean, many people in LA are homeless. A lot of people on Venice Beach, they're selling stuff every single day. They're hustling. And not
right.
everyone is just sunbathing. People got
Right.
to make that money. So,
Right.
to even enjoy LA, you need some serious cash,
Right.
because things aren't cheap in LA. So, To be in the position just to enjoy it, once again, it's the vision that will take you there, in whatever vision you have. Um, and you find once you start sharing your vision, people in LA, they're going to connect with you. They'll invite you into their homes. They'll take you places. But once again, it all starts from the vision. That vision, you can create it from anywhere. Pennsylvania, Paris, Sydney, Ethiopia, it doesn't matter where you are. And you find that it's not really where you are, it's where you are. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Once you start tapping into that, then it's infinite possibilities. You can go to LA next week, no problem. Go for a week
Just
or two,
right.
just to walk along the beach. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say. The vision pulls you.
The vision pulls you. That's the biggest thing. And the greatest thing is to realize there are a lot of distractions. I mean, even me, sometimes I'm on the internet looking at a lot of funny videos, and sometimes you realize it's fun, but 4 hours have just gone. You know
Right.
what I'm trying? But more so, your mindset has can be influenced by, okay, that's the thing to do. These viral videos, sites like World Star Hip Hop and all of that stuff. It can suck you in, but then again, once again, you lose track of your vision
Because you're not grounded.
because you're not grounded, and you think, who cares? Let me just act a down fool and go viral. You know what I'm
Right.
trying to say? Because most people nowadays, they don't think about really sharing from their heart space. They just think about getting a viral video. You see what I'm trying to
Yeah.
launch their own business or brand, so,
Right.
so people can know who they are. And
That,
sometimes
that's
people
that's
even
real.
they even stage stuff. They even make up scenes which aren't even true, because that
To
that's
get
that's
attention.
that's the lengths people are doing to get known. But when you come from an organic place, in the long run, it's gonna help you better. Like, I can make videos, I do videos every day because it's coming from an organic place. See, that's a secret. When it's coming from an organic place, it's just like water. It just flows. When it's coming from an inorganic place, now it's hard. You're gonna run out of gas very quickly. So the secret in creating your vision and sharing it is just make sure is based on your core values, and make sure that you can create your own signature. The signature is the biggest thing. Then it's over.
Right. It's over.
It's over. It's over.
That's awesome. Wow. So would you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I'm an infinite being. I'm everything under the sun. For me, it's about realizing, money is energy. And I always say we're supposed to have as much as everything as we want.
Right.
There should be no lack in, there's no lack in nature. So why should we live in lack? And for everything, once again, that's why I spoke of the name. The symbol of how you brand yourself is the most important thing, because Nike use signs and symbols. They're tick. That's how you know them. Apple, so, but when you use a symbol which is empowering at the same time, then it's over. Because once again, people recognize you by your symbol, but the symbol is even more powerful than the message sometimes. You see, because someone will say, okay, what's Herman's symbol? Maybe your symbol is whatever it is. Uh, just say it's the caduceus from Egypt. Okay, the masculine and the feminine intertwined, but that's also a medical symbol. Just by that symbol alone, people say, God, goodness gracious, what you represent is sometimes even more powerful than what you think it even represents. That's why
Right.
people are connecting with you. Like the apple symbol, subconsciously, everyone loves an apple. You see what I'm like? People don't even realize how deep it goes for why you even buy Apple in the first place, just because of that symbol.
Right.
Subconsciously, what it does to you, even in the biblical and all of these things, is powerful stuff. Um, so, I always say that, I'm everything under the sun. I want to show people how I've done it, and it only happens when you have that confidence. To be confident means you have to trust yourself. You got to love yourself, and you got to realize, like, um, it doesn't happen by itself. It's just one block at a time. Like we said with Preston builds the pyramid, one block at a time. you know, just one block at a time, because it can be overwhelming. When I was starting, once again, no one was doing it, so I didn't have a template to say, okay, that's what I should be doing it based on. Um, you don't really want to be doing what everyone else is doing, because deep down, sometimes you're watching even my video and you're saying, oh, I would do it like this instead. That's what you want to be thinking. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because that now you're creating your own signature. You see what I'm trying to say? And that's a
Right.
signature you've got to work towards, where you step into your one of a kindness. Because um, people don't watch my videos because they want to listen to what's being said. We don't watch anyone's videos for that. It's really the whole package.
The
It's the
message.
energy, it's the signature, and when you realize that there's a great book on the voice, if I can find it, I'll get it for you. This voice coach wrote it, and she was saying that your voice reveals so much about you. So when you realize the power of your voice, if you were uh, to really realize that no one has your voice in the whole world, all you have to do is just work on your voice. That's how you begin to create your signature. That's why music is so powerful.
I can feel that. I can definitely feel that voice. Everywhere I go, people either compliment me on my voice or my smile or both.
Right. I can feel it. I can see it. I can hear it. And that's what you've got. So the greatest way as well is just to, because even when you have a great voice, and when you love your voice, but you gotta exercise those vocal cords. Because it's like that. And the more you do it, the more you step into more of a flow of saying, okay, yeah, this is my vision. Because once again, we're in the world of, people don't just want to be sold an idea, they want to be talked to like you're a real human being.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like
It's
right now.
like how we are right now. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
um Go and take a look at Jenna Marbles, a YouTuber who just talks about things every week. She's tapping into the human element of connection. You see what I'm trying, she doesn't even teach you about anything, but she's funny. You
Right.
see what I'm trying to say? But deep down, she's also an entrepreneur, because she has things for her dogs. She's got a whole website, a whole shop, and they're going like wild cake. But she's not pushing it in your face. It's
Right.
just saying, if you want to order it, you can get it.
Right.
And of course, people scoop it up.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? Because she's not doing it directly; it's indirectly. But she knows what she's doing. But that
Right.
that isn't the main point of what she's doing. The main point is just to make people, connect with people on a human level,
Bring value.
bring value. And for me, I always say that there's no right or wrong. Um, Go in whatever direction you want. You don't have to uh, tell people what to do. You don't even have to teach people. That's why music is so powerful, because music doesn't tell you what to do directly. It just shows you a story that you can connect with.
Resonance. If it resonates with
Resonance,
you.
resonance, you see. But once again, a lot of people with music, um, it's very difficult to push a good message, because once again, you're not going to get that support. There are no accidents why certain videos, certain musicians can get big. It's because they can dumb down the masses. The moment you start, um, you know, putting anything of substance, it's going to be very hard, you know, because once again, you have to be a mastermind for that. Because it's not really what a lot of people want. People don't want people to think, because if you start thinking, now you've got power. So of course, if you're very dumbed down, you'll blow up faster than you can say, you know what? You know what I'm trying to say? So when you see
Right.
people in music videos acting silly, don't think they're silly. They're just playing the game. But you know, um, it takes more to put out a good message, and it's possible, it's doable. People are doing that. You just got to have trust in yourself. Good
Hmm.
energy is contagious. Just remember that. Good energy is contagious.
Good energy is contagious. Wow. So like what like made you go down the field of being a criminologist and a psychologist, both? Like did you go to college for both? Like did you
Yeah. I went to college for both. You know, at 20 I was studying. I'm 17. I went to university, psychology and criminology. You know, I mean, for me, I've always been interested in psychology. You know, but after studying, once again, that's when I had a breakdown, because I that's the time I was supposed to be working and everything, but um, I was studying too hard. But after then, you know, I had my transformation, and you know, I was working with autistic children in school, and you know, it was all good. But still, I realized I wasn't free.
right,
I didn't want to have to punch in a clock. I didn't want a 9 to 5 at all.
right,
Because I realized if I wanted to go on holiday, I had to ask someone. If I wanted to go to the toilet, I had to ask someone. So I wanted to be free as possible. But then I realized, gosh, how are you going to make a living? It's hard.
right.
So, you know, I mean, it was a whole journey of just developing belief in myself, and also realizing that when I started YouTube and stuff, it was more of a fun thing. You know, I started to write, I started to do consultations, but it was a whole gradual process.
Right.
You know, I never set out with the intention. I didn't even know where YouTube was going at first. I was just doing videos for fun. And then I realized, okay, a lot of people need this right now because I needed it. And then I realized the possibilities. Certain people are making millions of ebooks. Goodness gracious. You'd be surprised. You know, there's a whole underground scene of people who are thriving, not even going to work. So that's when my mind started to open to say, okay, there has to be another way. And when I wrote a book, Triathlon: The Law of the Galaxy, a novel. Then I was doing videos, and then all of a sudden everything took off, and I haven't looked back since.
Wow. So you wrote one book so far?
I've written two. One is a novel, um, and the other one is Feel Alive. Both on
Wow.
both on Amazon. You know, and you know, for me, I got the CD out. Um, you know, for me, that's what I realized, one very simple thing, that um, money itself is energy, and however you feel mentally and emotionally, that's your bank balance. If you're depressed, you're losing currency energy. If you're happy, you're gaining currency energy.
Right.
If you're in a loving relationship, all of these little things, they boost our inner currency, your energetic bank balance. Some people have a lot of physical money, but they don't value themselves. So you know, they can become very bankrupt
Because
mentally,
of the right
emotionally, and
influence.
then eventually physically. It's really not just about the physical money. I mean, look at these celebrities who have millions, but there's something else going. You know, you really need knowledge of self, because I went through a big, you know, stage of a big awakening of just reading a lot, getting knowledge by people like Dr. Phil Valentine, all kinds of people. people who knew more about things than me at that time. So
Right.
I was just fortunate to get, inner wisdom, higher wisdom, and then from my own experience, just merge the two together, the inner and the outer. Because I always wondered why wasn't anything taught about ancient Egypt, and then I realized, oh, that's where the real secret lies. You start getting into the Hermetic principles, and all of a sudden, the law of attraction just falls into your lap. You start attracting things, but you understand why they don't teach that in school, because it's dangerous. People will start walking out of there. People will start walking out of there. You know, you got to keep all of that stuff hidden away. So
Because it's a game.
it's all a game. All of it's a game. The whole thing is a game. Like I said, everything is rigged. Certain people with millions of views, it's not even real views sometimes. But you see, in the whole game of it, you got to create illusions. Like you got to create someone give someone 8 million views for just shouting out of the window. Because now what you do, you actually can manipulate human behavior. Now you get everyone doing that because they want the same effect of 8 million views.
But it's not the same
But it's not the same. But also you get other people moving away from their authenticity
because they want views.
because they want views. You see what I'm trying to say? Same thing as music. You have a lot of people who are singing about stuff they don't believe in, but because they want the views, because they say that's the only way to make it.
Right.
Some people, like on YouTube, for example, people always say, okay, how do I blow up? How do I get a lot of views and stuff? And I always tell people, um, there's different ways. Certain people think, okay, if I talk about something very popular, like I put a picture of Kim Kardashian's butt, everyone's going to click on it. You probably find that you may get 50,000 views in one day, but you have to ask yourself, who am I attracting?
Right.
You see, who am I attracting in the long run? You're going to be attracting a lot of people who may not be on the same frequency as you organically. So people won't even know who the real you is. So, you have to ask yourself, who do I want to attract in the first place? Do you want a million people who are on a low frequency, or 300 people who you can turn to for support? You see what I'm trying to
300
say?
people.
And eventually, once again, good energy is contagious. That's what everyone wants deep down anyway.
Good
So over
energy.
time, yeah, energy, of a high vibration, because it's all science. Only, the positive vibration is always more enjoyable. No one likes to be the bearer of bad news,
Right.
or bad frequencies for that matter. But also you can say the truth in a very positive way. I did that with the pineal gland, because you have to tell people what it is. Sometimes I go easy on people. I could tell them how bad the government is screwing them over, but once again, if you want to reach people, if you want to connect with people, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to talk down to them. You got to accept them for where they are. And if you go in it
Right.
in a peaceful way, you're gonna connect with 2,000, 1,000 times more people than if you go in very aggressive, full of anger and rage. Because once again, the same people you want to help, they get turned off by that.
Will you ever at a point like that, at like aggression and anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I was doing a lot of music back in the day. I'm an MC, so but that was when I was 16, 17. I was making a lot of songs, that was a way of channeling that energy. But when I first started doing YouTube, at one point I was like, okay, yeah, this is what the government is doing to you. But I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. In fact, I was tired after talking.
Wow.
So I realized, okay, you see, whenever you do that, you're just focusing on the problems. It's a lot harder to focus on solutions. You see, so I had to say, okay, the more I began to work on my energy, I realized, okay, um, it's art. You've got to treat this like art. And as an artist, you can create anything, you can talk about anything. It's just about doing it in a certain way. You see what I'm trying to say? That's harmonious, that's got some style to it.
Right.
Then it doesn't really matter what you talk about. Talk about fluoride, talk about the TV that is brainwashing you. But once again, it's all about how you're feeling, the energy behind when you're saying it. You don't want to, you don't want to let it overpower you. You got to realize that you got to stay grounded. Say, okay, I'm not gonna let this ruin my day. You got to laugh about it. Got to joke about it.
Right. So you clearly had a vision, like when you were teaching autistic children, you had a vision, like you were doing YouTube for fun, but you had a vision that, you could take YouTube, with your vision to like some next levels.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I always knew it. For one moment, I didn't doubt it because once again, my whole experience has been very, very strange in connecting with so many different people, white people, black people. There is no color. You see, the more people you connect with, you realize the secret is just energy. So
Right.
for me, I started to realize that okay, um, you have to almost. I realized one thing that I could mold this kind of artwork, which is going to be very. People might think it's crazy what I'm doing. What's that? But deep down, it would people would catch on to it because once again, I was creating a signature from back in the day with Infinite
I remember
Waters.
that. I remember I watched your videos like way back, and you were like real, like it was almost like you like forced your videos, like now you're like more fluid.
Right, right, right. Right, right. Well, it's all part of the process.
Right.
It's all part of the process. It's all part of it. It's all wonderful. When you look at it, like, okay, that's where I came from, and that's where we all come from. Like, it's just about being comfortable with whatever you're doing, and when you're comfortable, when you can keep going, and it's not bothering you. You know what I'm trying to say? And
Right.
and just as long, once again, play around with it. For me, I'm always evolving, and sometimes I might switch it up. I might try a new style today. And sometimes you're like, oh, how did that go? So I'm like, okay, it's no right or wrong in this stuff. It's just art. It's just an expression.
Expression. Expression.
It's just an expression. The biggest thing, like whenever you're creating content creation, you don't want to fall in the trap of judging yourself to say this was good, this was bad, or that video. Someone will say, "Oh, Ralph, that video was amazing." I said, "Which one?" They're all amazing. Like it's not about being big-headed, but you have to realize it's all energy.
Right.
You see sometimes um, that's the secret of it. There is no one video. Certain videos will resonate more with people because that's what they're going through at that time. So
So what's really helped you to be grounded? Because I feel like you have a healthy ego in a sense because like but you're humble enough to not I feel like it's hard for us as humans to like, we're gonna constantly go back to the ego, but it's like you remain grounded. Like you have a very healthy balance. So what really helps you remain grounded like for so many years and like days on end?
right. Well, for me, I was inspired. I don't know if you know Tahuti Ma'at. He was on YouTube as well.
No, I don't.
D Hubs, go and check him out. Great brother. And he used to put out like sometimes 5 videos in the day. When I mean the video, the content of his videos were first for me anyway. They were like the best videos in the world. But not just one, 5, like sometimes 20 minutes each in a day.
Wow.
Um, he actually stopped making videos on YouTube and he deleted his channel, but because he got into some issues with someone else. But when he was doing his videos, I'm like, goodness gracious, that's inspirational because he wasn't stopping. Like, I see a lot of people that put out stuff, especially if you're an artist or something, you make a great video, a great song or whatever, and then it gets millions of views, and then you stop because you're waiting for the applause. You're waiting, say, okay, what were the numbers for the first week? And whenever you do that, it's very hard to stay grounded because now you might get a big head if if you get 10 million views, and then there's even more pressure to top that on the next one. So that's why if you're an artist, if you're a recording artist, it's one single at a time because that's what they do. That's why so many artists suffer from depression because there's so much expectation on one single, that it's a lot of pressure. So what kept me grounded was just to say, okay, uh, I'm just gonna create whenever I feel like it. Like pineal gland, next day I did another one. Next day I did another one. So it's like I don't care about pineal gland one. The other one I did in the garden is just as good. Or the other one I did in the bathroom. Like for me, there's no separation in terms of what I create or when I create or how I create. If a video has 1,000 comments or a video has 5 comments, for me it's all the same thing. You see what I'm trying to say? I
Yeah.
don't get stuck on one video. And,
Right.
and the only
Is that how you see your whole life?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, for me, I was always told you have to keep it moving, and that's how I do things. Like, um, one thing I've realized is just through meditation as well as help. I listen to a lot of bossa nova music, hell of a lot. Jazz is one of the biggest things. That's why people in the 50s, 60s, they were more grounded than the people than we are now because of the
Wow.
frequency.
What artists do you listen to? I hear you mention. I learned so much from you. Just like I don't even identify with a race anymore because of you. And like I changed my toothpaste, like little things.
Right, right.
I appreciate your energy. You talk about good energy, and it's like I just be like I gotta listen to Ralph. Like I don't care what you say. It's just like just the energy. Like it doesn't matter. And I think of it's just amazing how a person, you know, we're meeting for the first time online, which is amazing what technology can do. But it's like just the day and age we live in, just being able to connect with so many people, and you being a very unique individual because it's like you have like really went deep in your subconscious. Like you talking about like not cutting your hair, like how you
Right,
grew up
right.
believing you had to cut your hair. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah. Because once again, you see, when you take the pressure off, you can stay grounded. Being grounded is about being in balance and equilibrium. You see what I'm trying to say? And many times we're living more from the outside in as opposed from the inside out.
mm,
What do I want to do? What does Herman want to do today? Do I want to cut my hair or do I want to just cut it because it makes other people happy in the room? Oh, did you cut your hair today? Go and cut your hair. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like
right.
it's all about doing what you want to do today and how it makes you feel. And when you can do that, it's very easy to stay grounded. But whenever you're living from the outside in, oh, how many likes did I get on Instagram? How many views did I get? It's very difficult because you see, that's changing all the time. And once again, the only person you should be competing with, I've seen, is yourself. And then you move into setting yourself little challenges, little games to do with yourself, and then it all comes down to the feeling of, okay, how did I feel when I was creating this? That's the ultimate mastery. Where, okay, just as long as I felt good making this, or this vision I have feels good, it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks of it. And like I say, we're living in the world where it's numbers now. It's a numbers game. We're living in a viral world of social media where if someone had 8 million viewers on followers on Instagram, you think, okay, this person is more important than someone with 200, right?
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? So, um, but you see that person with 8 million followers, they've even got a harder challenge to stay grounded because they have to make sure it doesn't go to the head. But if they can see the illusion in that, then it's going to work for them. Just like someone who has millions of dollars, if they can stay grounded, then it's going to work for them even more.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to, like Michael Jordan, he's grounded. You can see just from the way he carries himself. even though
Right.
he's worth so much. But that basketball, that discipline taught him how to be grounded. That it doesn't matter how much money he's got, he's still Michael Jordan. You know,
Right.
you don't see him bragging about, oh, I've got all of this money. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's
Right.
the whole thing of just realizing that it's really moving into your body more and more every day. I'm skating because you see, all of our problems, our worries don't exist in our mind; they exist in our body.
Mm.
When you're feeling tense and tight, that's a leg muscle there. You know, every emotion is a ligament, is a tendon, is you know what I'm trying, is a cartilage.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. So just as for me, just as long as I'm in nature, I'm good. Just as long as I'm not taking myself too seriously, I can stay grounded. You know, I don't consider myself. I'm just a student of the game, eternal student.
Is that how you don't take yourself seriously by considering yourself that way?
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel we're all students, and Mother Nature is the great teacher. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have, you could something could happen to you,
Right.
and now you gotta bow down. You gotta bow down to what we all came out of. You know,
Right.
sons and daughters of Mother Nature. You know, so that's why I can talk to anyone, anywhere, because I'm just I am another yourself. You know, there's no okay, I'm better than you, you're better than me. We just share experiences, and we go from there.
Right. So you say, I know, what was it? You say you don't have goals, you have themes. I really like that.
Right.
So so how how do you like? I'm pretty sure you're a productive individual because what you have done for yourself, you have to be productive. So since you don't have goals and you have themes and you do what you feel, so how does that correlate in being productive?
Right, right, right. Well, for me, my theme is, become your greatest version. It's an ongoing theme.
Right.
So by me putting out content, more or less every day, I'm priming myself to say, okay, you have to become your greatest version. That's the theme right now of your life, and but the pressure disappears when I say, okay, I don't have a time limit to do it.
Uh,
You see, a lot of pressure comes where we say, okay, I have to get in shape by Monday, by Tuesday. I have to make
right.
this much money by next week. I have to develop my your own vision, Herman's vision by next week Tuesday. So now you've got this goal, you lose even the theme of what you want to do in the process. Because if that goal can't be done by that set time, now you start beating yourself up. With a theme is almost like it's a way where you've still got the vision, but it's flexible. Certain times you might have to take a U-turn. You might need to go traveling, and put the vision on hold, but it's still a theme. You can still incorporate it into your lifestyle. So if your whole theme is just of, living better, you can incorporate it with the foods you eat. Are you eating the best food every day? Not white rice, but brown rice. You're going for the best.
Right.
You see what I'm, so small things like that is part of the theme.
Okay. I definitely understand that. I can get that. Cause like I just love your energy, Ralph. I definitely see you. You call yourself a student. I see yourself as a mentor. As a mentor, I would say I had a lot of male figures in my life that showed me who not to be. And you're a unique person. I would say I'm pretty unique in my family because it's like they identify with like something so small, like with a race, something like that, because of the color. And it's like I don't. And it's like
Right.
so it's like when I hear your ideas and you're just your message, I admire it. I look up to you because of that. Because it's like you're strong enough to say, even if I stand alone, I'm going to be standing.
Right, right. You see, and I see it within you. I can see your strength, your greatness as well, because you see, once again, that's part of your signature. People, we don't really remember those that conform. We remember those that follow and stick true to their true vision and their true
Right.
heart's desire. Those are the people that really influence the most people. When people say, "Oh, you're weird, you're crazy," that's a compliment.
Right.
Those are the ones that go off and create, millions and, in abundance. Because once again, those are the people who aren't afraid to stand up for what they believe in. For a long time, I was like, Black Power this, Black Power that, but then I realized that it was limiting. It was way too limiting because I realized sometimes people who were helping me out, they were of all different colors. Sometimes the people I was having great laughs with, they were of all different colors. So I had to question my belief system. Going into quantum physics, I realized that underneath it all were just subatomic particles dancing, dancing around. So, getting into the science, you realize that we've all been hoodwinked. We've been taken for a ride. um, we're living in separation. So what happens when people start uniting? Then it's
Powerful.
powerful. You see, it's powerful, but more so even your whole brand, your vision. If you're going into being an entrepreneur, you're going to connect with far more people,
Right.
and now you can both trade things. You never know who may be at the aid of your rescue. It could be someone who doesn't even look like you, but then they're a part of you. It's like the whole film Crash. Sometimes the same people that you so-called don't like, you may need them the most, and you're gonna crash into them.
Definitely. I like the one thing you posted on Instagram. You mentioned about, you know, watch how you treat people on your way up because you might meet them on their way down or something like that.
Right, right. Well, that's how I've seen. I mean, one thing I always say, okay, uh, when I was doing YouTube, I just made, I said to myself, okay, I don't want to talk bad about people just to get views. I don't want to call people out. If I'm gonna call someone out, I'm gonna be uplifting them, or I'm gonna tell the world how amazing they are. I don't want to just put someone down, or I might talk about someone and it's gonna be constructive, but I don't want to just talk down on someone, because I always say you got to be careful. You may see them on your way down. Calm as a bitch. Sometimes it can sometimes it can work like that. You
Right.
see, really and truly, it's just about um, realizing that you have to be very careful how you treat people. I've seen it even in my own life. There was a guy who used to bully a lot of people from the school I was at, and now this guy put on so much weight. And even when I saw him, um, I never felt a need to go and embrace him 100%. It was more, actually I was on the bus, but if it was someone who really touches you, you want to get off the bus to make. But because this guy, he had bullied so many people, instinctively you don't feel so open to that person.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? But then certain people you meet, maybe they treated you well back in high school all those years ago. If you see them again, like, oh, let's go out, let me treat you to something. But if it was someone that was a jackass, you don't feel immediately drawn to do that. Maybe, you still got that compassion. You're still gonna say, okay, well, let's put it behind us. I mean, that's what I did. But a lot of the time, you have to be careful because people don't forget. I always say, even if you're in a relationship, you got to be careful how you treat your woman,
Right.
because the thing is, many times, even if you're not together, people always remember how you treated them, and sometimes people miss that. Gosh, damn, they were so polite. You know what I'm trying to say? Because the thing is, nobody can hold that against you. If you treat someone well, even if it didn't work out, happened to me along my journey, um, people can still appreciate that.
The moment, the feelings.
The moment, the feelings. But once again, some of us, we don't care. We don't care about people, and like I always say, be careful how you treat people on the way up. You might meet them on the way down. And on the way down, it may not be the most pleasant experience.
Well,
You know?
it doesn't seem like you have like the way you have, orchestrated your mind. I feel like you have like over your journey, you have like uplifted so many beliefs, like demythed so many beliefs that is like you you are really you create your own reality. This is like one of the most powerful quotes I ever heard by name Bob Proctor. Like you create your own reality, and you call yourself an alchemist, and it's like just talking to you and like experiencing your videos. It's like you always like you have come to a point like you come to a point almost that it's like you can flip anything into like an advantage.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's what I love to do, you know, and for me, because like I always say, it's all a perspective. It all depends how you're seeing this thing. You know, I talk of, you know, in the fifth dimension. You see, a lot of us, we're just fear always keeps you locked in one dimension. As you begin to expand in love, you can see things from different dimensions. You say, wait a minute, actually, I've got my whole body today. Some people, there was recently a plane crash recently. You see, you know, some people didn't even get to wake up today. Certain times we think, oh my gosh, this laptop's so expensive. But the school I was working at, the headmaster commits suicide.
What?
Yeah, this was in August.
They had who commit suicide?
The headmaster,
Wow.
you know, he had two children, everything. But you know, from the surface, I mean, the guy seemed like he was amazing, nice guy. But once again, you don't really know what people are dealing with. And this guy probably had hundreds of millions in his bank account. But it's not just about the money. You know what I'm trying to say? Robin
Right.
Williams, same thing. Like, you see, it's only when you have a lot of money you begin to understand that. You see what I'm trying to? It's not just about the money. So, for me, I always love to see things in a different perspective. Even if I was to lose everything, I'd make it again in the same day.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because
Right.
once again, it's you. Whenever you have your signature, you can always rebuild. So for me, I can flip any experience. You know, I mean, my life's not perfect. Obviously, there are moments being in this collective world, you're gonna feel the sometimes vibrations, and sometimes it's not always positive. Sometimes you can get swept in a whole wave of negative energy. But I'm always I'm always recharging. If I'm in nature, sometimes, if you know, connect with great people like yourself and whatnot, because you have to really be an alchemist. You have to. In this world, if you don't know how to be an alchemist, it's going to be hard.
Right. So I remember your video on introverts and extroverts, and I recently just took a personality test, a human metrics test, and a Myers-Briggs test.
Right,
And my symbol was a ISTJ, introvert, sensing, thinking, judging.
right,
Right. And you said, it all depends on your comfort level.
right.
Like, so, based off of that, I'm not gonna like externalize my power to that, the whole, Shabbat, because I would say, we're talking right now, but it's like I wouldn't talk as openly, to everybody I see based off of my instincts or my judging, because I'm not very intuitive as much. My partner though, she's very intuitive, but I'm more of like I use my discernment more. So how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're uh, how do you identify with the extrovert and introvert
Right, right.
personality?
Well, you know, I'm both, you know, and I always say all of us are both. It's just you have to have the right person to crack you open. Like certain times I used to go to one a barber shop back in the day, and that was a guy, he had like hundreds of books on consciousness.
Wow,
So
barber.
yeah, yeah. I mean, on amazing stuff like As a Man Thinketh, Think Rich, Grow Rich, all kinds of books. So I was like, oh, you got an amazing, you know, book collection. But we were just talking for hours sometimes. After, even when he was cutting hair, he would be talking to me. So, um, you know, I'm a bit of both. I'm a bit of introvert and extrovert. But once again, it's about who can crack you open. and the area of interest, the point of interest. No one's quiet all the time. No one's loud all the time. Certain extroverts are really shy around people where they can't really talk to. If they're diving too deep, extroverts may be silent.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because
Right.
they're not. It's not their area of interest. But certain introverts could be extroverts if they're around the right environment, the right people, they got the right food. I always say it's just about if people accept you for who you are, now you can feel free to be whatever you want. I've met people who are very quiet, but they're amazing. Some people who are very loud, they're amazing. I always say just be comfortable with whatever your expression is. You're an artist at the end of the day. You should really know how to use that paintbrush
Right. Freely as you will.
freely as you will.
Okay. Well, Ralph, I know you gotta go.
Well, I'm grateful. Like I say, whatever you want to go into, because, it took some time for us to get it. Like I say, I'm open. We can keep it rolling, whatever, you know, anything else you want to know. No problem.
Right, man, because it's like you're so simple. I learned that from you too. You know, like I got rid of so many stuff like in my apartment. Like that, it's so much more simple. Like I learned so much from you, just like keeping things simple, traveling light, because you travel so much. That's something I'm going to do.
Right, right. Well, the biggest thing is, I always had a dream to go to LA, and LA is one of the best experiences, you know, things I've ever done just to move to LA, and go there, every couple of months and stuff. Because before I went, I was like, goodness gracious, I make videos, but how am I going to get it? And I realized, wait a minute, don't worry about that stuff. Just travel,
Right,
and you realize that all you need is a very simple tools, but what you really need is just your energy to be high. If your energy is high, you can always create. If you're eating right, you're getting your body in shape, you got nothing to worry about. Um, what I did with my room was, I just turned it into a studio. So I got my camera out. Anytime I hit record, I just create. Easy. Back in the day, though, when I was making videos, I would have to set up my whole camera equipment and then disassemble it because I wasn't really sure if that was what I was supposed to be doing. But when you're
mm,
sure, now your work becomes your lifestyle. It's like basketball player Shaq's got a basketball court in his house. It's only necessary. It's only right because
right,
that's what he does. Now he hasn't got to work. He's got a lifestyle.
right,
You see, so that's what I did. And I love cycling. I don't have a car. I got a license though, so if I have to drive someone to the hospital, I can do that. But once again, I don't need a car. All I need to do is I just cycle around.
wow,
I don't need to eat meat, but I don't judge people that do. I don't need to do it, so I keep simple. So I don't have to worry. When I used to eat a lot of chicken and meat, I was scared about traveling because I was like, gosh, how am I going to get my perfect chicken the way I love it?
right,
You know what I'm trying to say? How am
yeah,
I? Because you get so attached to those little things that um, you don't want to leave anywhere. You see, even now, like I don't focus so much on creating heaven in my room. I create heaven in my heart.
oh, I like that.
I don't focus a lot on creating heaven in my room. I focus on creating heaven in my heart because all of these material things, certain times I've had cameras which have packed up. I've had, all kinds of stuff can happen. Cameras dropped on the floor, shattered. What happens? Buy a new one. But if you drop on the floor, what's going to happen? You see,
Mm,
that takes up more mastery. So that's the real thing you have to cultivate because everything else is easy. Just buy another one.
right,
Your room, you can buy another one, paint it. That's really not what should make you. Not the clothes you wear, how nice your room is, all of those things. It's really, the contents of your heart and how much juice you have.
wow. So you're not going anywhere with YouTube then? Huh. or do you plan on, getting out of YouTube?
No, I love it. I love this stuff. For me, it's not even just about YouTube. It's a lifestyle. I share stuff on YouTube, but really, that's just a byproduct of feeling good. you know, of the abundant lifestyle. I mean, for me, I have a simple philosophy. If you've got it, you better use it. Otherwise, you might lose it.
Mm.
You can't rest on your laurels. Like every day, once again, I'm exercising my vocal cords. It's about finding the rhythm.
How do you go about doing exercising your vocal cords?
Well, really, it's just about feeling comfortable within your voice. Even though I've been speaking for a long time, but it takes you still have to do it every day. Just to find the comfort in your own voice. You see, many people don't like the sound of their own voice.
Wow.
That's why they can't create. So to find you have to accept your voice, and that can only come through uh, creating art with your voice. You don't want to just become a machine that just spits out information. You want to create your own unique signature. Say,
Something
okay,
that's like meaningful, like
that's
a purpose.
meaningful, right? But also something which everyone can know is you. How can I distinguish between you and the next person? Because you got millions of people, they're saying the same thing. Law of attraction. Love yourself 100%. Do this. Same song, even the music. You got 100 people, millions of people saying, okay, this woman's booty is so nice, that woman's booty is so nice.
Right.
But the real signatures are the only ones that are going to stand out. And those real signatures is hard. You got to really appreciate yourself. It's easy to do it, but see, not many people are willing to trust their own art.
Right. That's awesome. Like trusting your art, because it's like even on the side of like after I build my capital with entrepreneurship, like I mean even while that's happening, but I feel like when I have more capital, I can travel more to what is it for acting because I moved down to Florida, like I graduated from Pennsylvania, like and I went down to Florida with like a modeling contract, and it was like I was getting gigs, but they weren't consistent, and it's but like I lost so much weight because I wanted to be a model, and I realized it was just because I was insecure, and but I realized like my agent said, try acting, and I wanted to do it to make more money. So I was like, yeah, why not? So, but then I realized I actually enjoy acting. Like I
Right,
really
right,
like I never was into acting. I always thought, in high school, like, oh, you're gay if you want to go into drama class, but it's like I was so closed-minded to this idea until later in my journey after high school. I was like, I really, my energy was very high. It was fun. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like I was, a job or something like that. It was
right, right,
enjoyable. So I think of like art because I'm like, I speak to live. If like, I think of how you wrote a book, even my partner, my woman, she wrote a book, but it's like, I never wrote. I rather speak it. Like, I rather speak a message, like a text message than type it.
right,
So it's
right,
like my whole life like is around speaking.
right. Well, that's what I did for Feel Alive. I put the transcript of my videos into the book form. See what I'm
Wow.
trying to say? Because people benefited from the videos. This was just another outlet they could connect if they didn't have the internet in a written format. So that's the greatest thing. Florida, go to California, go to Santa Monica. They'll love to see you out there because once again, that's the place to be. LA is a great place to do that stuff. But same thing with Preston. He was a model um, and an actor. He gave that lifestyle up to do his own kind of modeling and acting, which was based on his vision.
Wow.
You know what I'm trying to say? So the whole thing is when you
I
realize
right.
when you realize that, okay, uh, we're in a whole new world right now. Certain people are getting a camera, HD camera, and just doing little skits on the internet. And some of these people, they're making millions. You'd be surprised. But they don't need the middleman. They don't need someone to give them a job. They're creating it.
Uh,
They're creating their own films with the right team. They're broadcasting a message there, because you see the way people are building brands now isn't through the old way. Nowadays it's like people, they want to know who you are first, and then they'll see what you're about after.
mm, right.
And that's the greatest way. People are more interested in Herman than the brand, and then you become the brand.
They want to know the story.
They want to know the story first, you see, because everyone's trying to sell you something. People ain't
Right.
interested in that. People want genuineness, and when you're that, then once again, you're acting. Uh, Create a YouTube video, see where it takes you. You never know what's gonna happen. Because once again, people, that's where people are.
YouTube.
YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's where the whole world. And you have to realize, like, it may not be like this forever, because the internet is only one. It's like it's one outlet. But sooner or later, probably in the next 10 years, there's going to be another kind of internet, where this will be the internet version one. There'll be a version two, which will be holographic.
Wow.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because these ideas are what people are thinking about. This is what people are thinking about, how to change the whole game. Don't think the internet is going to stay like this.
Right.
Everything has to evolve. So, but while it's here, while this amazing technology is here, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to utilize it?
Right.
Am I just a spectator on the sidelines? Because sometimes it's no fun just being on the sidelines. Ask any basketball player; they'll tell you it sucks. They want to be in the game. They want to be in the action. They want to be creating, doing that jump shot. So um, you even appreciate more what other people are doing when you're creating stuff as well.
Makes
But
sense.
but at the same time,
I didn't know Preston was a model and an actor.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. He was big, because I saw one of his pictures in Tumblr. I told him a long time ago, like years ago.
What? So he's been a model. He was a model and actor for years.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what he was doing, you know. But
Wow.
once again, he was saying how it's there's a lot of politics, especially in Hollywood, about that stuff. Certain
Right.
things, certain times they don't want black guys for certain roles. They want certain other people for certain roles. There's a lot of politics.
Right.
Um, so once again, we're in the age where you can create your own vision.
I see, and I feel that. I feel that when I listen to you guys, it's like, it's not like I think of like I was just in Washington D.C. Have you ever heard of Eric Thomas?
Oh yeah, yeah, he's crazy. Yeah,
Right, right. And it was like I was at his event, and it was like it was in Washington D.C. and I was sitting next to a guy, and Washington D.C. That's like President Eric White House, and this guy's like, yeah, people, it's nothing but politics here, and I'm like, so people are not very friendly. Like he's like people just before they even get to know you, they're like, where you work at, where you from, what car you drive. It's like it's all politics. And like when I listen to you and Preston, it's like it's very free, and like I can feel that like the reason why you guys do YouTube because it's so free, right?
yeah,
Like you're not like bound to anything. It's not
right,
like you're not like a label. There's no label on you. Like you say, like you're Ralph, Preston. Then it's like the brand.
right,
It's not
right,
like
right,
it's not like okay, Washington D.C. Then the people. It's like the
right,
people, and then Washington D.C.
right. Well, that's the whole thing. Like I say, you have to be careful. Like you don't become a corporation, because most corporations, a corpo is a body, dead body. It means a dead body. It's got no
Oh,
soul. So when you go
wow.
into them,
It's so deep.
you know, check out Yafa Bay because once again, the Moorish science, they have it down on words and etymology. That's what you have to study. I mean, that stuff blew me away. But corporation is a dead body, so basically that's why, um, when people say like, "Oh, go and speak to the company," no one is responsible for the company because it's a dead body.
Right.
So you can hide behind a corporation. It's easy to do, but the downside is that corporation has no feeling. Who are you? But when you become your whole, when you become the total package, now people know who you are. It's more than just a corporation. It's someone behind it. You see what I'm trying to say? That's why a lot of YouTube channels, if you just have a corporation kind of brand where there's loads of people doing stuff, once again, you lose the intimacy with the audience because nobody knows who runs this stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like a kind of people will watch it, but they wouldn't have any real connection because once again, who the hell is in charge of this?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
So you can't trace it back to the cause.
you can't trace it back to the cause. So you have to really uh you have to like Macklemore, go independent. You have to, and then connect with other amazing people out there who are doing the same thing. But once again, it's about a simple lifestyle. For me, I wake up whatever time I want, but I wake up early because it feels good. And you just have to have fun. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Many times even what people love to do can turn into a nightmare if people want to buy them out. Even for me, it happened. Sometimes people want to offer you deals and stuff.
People offer you deals?
Oh yeah. Well, just sometimes people always ask you to do this show or do that show, and sometimes I have to look at it first because you don't want to be in a situation. It's just like, okay, Herman, you've got this amazing vision of, but come and work for me. Come and work for me, and with, once again, you turn into that 9 to 5 stuff.
Right.
I don't want to do any 9 to 5 at all.
Wow.
You got to be your own boss and then connect with other bosses out there and have fun.
Right.
Because you see, the 9 to 5 is more than just time. It's a mindset that locks your mind in a prison. You see, and now you can't do certain things. You can't say certain things because once again, you're representing a corporation, a company. That's why in work, you can't talk about your vision because that goes against the company's policies to talk about your vision. Didn't you reach page 82?
No.
You're supposed to be right. So you're supposed to be talking about the whole company. That's why in the workplace, what happens when you start talking about other stuff? They say, "Hey, come on, we got a job to do," and they're right because that's why they're paying your ass. They're paying it because you have to make money for the company, not for your vision, but for their vision.
Right.
So you have to be smart in this world, man. It's a game of snakes and ladders.
Uh,
you know?
wow. I can definitely see like everybody has their own agenda. Like there's no right or wrong because everybody has their own agenda. Like the news and the radio, they're putting out negative stuff, but that's because people aren't attracted to positivity. We're attracted to negativity. So it's just like that's what they're gonna advertise and promote negativity because that's how they make money off of ratings. So it's like everybody has their own agenda.
Right, right. And once again, it goes back to the corporation. Like news stations are corporations, but you see what they do, it works for them. You can't hate on it because most of us are so dumbed down that that's why news stories get millions of views and stuff. TMZ. But you see, with TMZ and all of these people, they don't have a heart connection. You can't have a heart connection because you don't know who the hell they are. It's
Right.
just information, but you'll see they nearly have billions of views. But you can't connect with them because they don't allow you to, because they're not there for connection. They're there just to put out information which is, gonna uh, make you click on it.
Right.
So it's, you have to go, you can go two ways with this thing, with your own brand. You can be a TMZ, or you can be a heart-based business, and that's a choice which isn't easy to make at times, because
Nah.
sometimes the TMZ route will get you a hell of a lot of money, hell of a lot of money. But then
Right.
you lose that connection to your audience. You don't have an audience of people who are in their heart space. The people who you're going to attract might be a lot of aggressive, grumpy people. You know what I'm trying to say? So the audience you connect with, they may not be loyal. They may
Right.
not be deep in their own heart space.
I see.
Whatever you put out is what you're going to get back.
Right. Because if you're speaking from your heart space, that's what you're going to attract. So simple.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, and that's what really keeps you going in the long run, because it's easy to do. You don't have to pretend to be yourself.
Right. I definitely understand what you're talking about. Just like I see why YouTube is the platform
Oh
because
yeah,
it allows you to be free and and like be a unique individual.
yeah.
I I can see why you recommend me to do videos.
Do it. Send me them, and like I said, this is the day and age. Certain people don't realize all you need is a webcam,
I
and
have one too.
you have one too. That's it. All you got to do is click record, and sometimes some people do video that 2 minutes, 1 minute. It doesn't really matter how long you do it. It just, once again, is realizing that you've got to start planting the seeds. There's no better place to plant them than on the internet, because other people will give you the confidence to help you believe in your dreams. See, the more people that
Right.
resonate with your information, that's the booster to push you in the right direction, to say, wait a minute, yeah, there's a need for this. But then again, you've got to test the waters. You've got to take the deep dive to say, okay, let me just share this idea, this vision. Let me do this style of video. Maybe I wanna comment on the news stories. You got people like Russell Brand doing that at the moment. Where he talks about news stories. You got people like Vlad TV who do videos. Uh, they have other people doing videos. You got all kinds of stuff um, on YouTube. You got funny videos, prank videos, all kinds of stuff, and it's all needed. It's all relative. That you can't hate on what anyone's doing, because at least they're doing something.
Right. So did you plan out, become your greatest vision? Did you set a date that you was gonna like, launch launch a video, or did you just,
Oh
you
no,
just had
no.
the idea,
Once again, I didn't plan any of this. It just went. I just doing it, and just after time, I just continue to do it. That's when you step into your purpose. Sometimes it's just something that it just does itself.
right.
I just talk. I love to do it. I'm a Pisces, for goodness sake. Probably find your sister as well. Like, when you get us talking, we don't stop. So, um, it's one of those things that I didn't plan it, but I just went along with it, and it feels good, so I didn't stop.
Wow. Man, it just sounds like a real like spontaneous. Because I know my sister, she's very spontaneous and
Oh yeah,
she,
yeah. You,
right,
you can't plan things. My sister's Capricorn. She's a good planner as well. But say organized. It's good. It's good to have organization, but as well, you have to have fluidity. Fluidity
right,
is being able to realize we all came from the water. Sometimes you might need, the water pushes you in all kinds of directions. You got to be able to move around.
right.
You got to be able just to not be so hard on yourself. Have fun in the water. Just um, you not be afraid of talking about certain stuff. And the whole theme, once again, when I say diving deep, what do you expect? We're diving deep. Don't expect this to be um, kindergarten. We sometimes it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable what I talk about. That's good. We're getting somewhere now. You know, so it's like the whole symbol of what you have is very powerful because it informs what people are going to be tuning into beforehand. So you don't have to continually express yourself, say, okay, this is what I do. If you make a video 30 minutes long, well, diving deep, what do you expect?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? If you make a video like I did of videos, all kinds of subjects, why I stopped watching porn, the fifth dimension, diving deep. You know? So it's like, that's the whole thing. But, once again, I just knew, okay, it's a symbol that pushed me into that direction, infinite waters, because once you have the right symbol for your own vision, then it's over. The thing is, you got to find what that symbol is and how it represents you, and then just create around that symbol.
Wow. I feel like this conversation, because I think I like how you put it together. Just infinite waters diving deep.
Right.
It's almost like dome. Like you just bring two things together because it's like it's just fluid. It just the collaboration of the two. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Wow. So you're just like that's just amazing. So when did you know that you know to that you were at a point where you could just you know you were just good with YouTube and like you could like leave
Leave.
your job.
Well, I left in 2011, and at that time I was still shaky, for finances. I was still surviving off, money I had made from my job. But really, in 2013, I was making just a living off YouTube, and I do consultations and whatnot, and my book sales and CDs. I was good to go. But yeah, around 2013. But that was only because once again, um, I was things were taking off.
Right.
I was creating more of I was getting more intimate with topics and things like that. But yeah, I would say, for it's been about a good three years of not having to punch that clock in, you know. Thank goodness. But at the same time, I could go back to doing. I don't have any. I'm not in resentment towards it. I just
Right.
use it as a stepping stone, and I always knew it was always going to be a stepping stone because like I always say, once you've tasted infinity, you will never go back to your old life. When I started to travel around the world, go to Brazil, see people on boats and stuff, like, do you work? No, of course I don't work. What do you do then? And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Because this is a game.
Right.
Don't you see? If you ask someone what to do, don't worry. They'll have plenty of things for you to do. You're supposed to realize you're an infinite being. You're supposed to create whatever work you want. If you want to paint today, paint. If you want to sing, sing.
Right.
Make sure you're never bored by doing whatever you love to do, and then create a value around it so you can be in the law of exchange. Then you live in abundance. Because it's not just about saying, I want to do what I love. You've got to do what you love with service added. If you're amazing at chess, if you teach chess, now you're doing what you love, but you're adding a service. Now you do what you love, you get paid for it.
Right. Chess is pretty stimulating. I've been playing that recently.
Right, right. Well, that's how it works. Some people say, okay, if you want to go into acting and be a model, that's fantastic. Because if you're making people laugh, you're entertaining people, you're providing a great service. Or if people feel a certain way when they look at you, you're providing a service. So it's so many ways to get into that law of exchange. You just gotta once again just go for it. You know,
Right. Take that radical action.
take the radical action, and like I say, you got nothing to lose. If you're being yourself, what do you have to lose?
Everything to gain.
Everything to gain. you know.
So what are you planning on doing after the call?
Well, after the call, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna upload a video, eat some rice and mung beans, and then go out and chillax,
Wow,
watch some funny
you're in London,
videos
right?
afterwards. Huh?
You're in London, right?
I'm in London at the moment. Yeah.
Wow. I always thought you lived in Venice. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I was in Venice. I love Venice. I'm back and forth. I mean, I love LA. I'm fortunate. I can go and back and forth.
Right.
And that's what I do. Wherever I am, I'm gonna be creating.
Wow. So like your family like lives in London then.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And you just like so you're not American
No, no, I'm not American. I just like Venice.
then. Right. That's cool. I mean, even American, that's a separation right there, thinking about that.
Right, right, right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, the maximum I can stay in is 6 months, 90 days. So when I go for 90 days and then come back and then go for another 90 days. But like I say, I'm grateful.
Right. I remember you spoke about that. You in your one video you said about how like you were staying with like people who were like millionaires or billionaires, but like you realized, they had to go to the bathroom and go to the kitchen
Oh
and be
yeah.
grateful for just like you.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the whole thing. Like again, you realize, like I say, Venice is amazing, but it's not Venice. We are Venice. You bring the energy to Venice.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're in Pennsylvania, you can still just feel like you're in Hawaii. It doesn't make a difference. Like it's you.
Right.
Like, heaven isn't in the room, it's a place within your heart. So,
Wow.
it's not just a place or a beach. I mean, I grew up, my parents from West Africa, Sierra Leone. So when I went there, the beaches, the best beaches in the world. That's where you trace back your ancestry to. So genetically, I come from a place of tropical islands. That's where I'm born from. So a beach is just, that's home. Beach slippers, palm trees, that's home.
Right.
We're children of the sun, for goodness sake. So that's where you naturally are from, the beach, the ocean. So it's inside of you. It's not, that's who you are. So everything else is just a contrast. Like being in London, probably really what got me to do a lot of videos in the first place because there was so much contrast. But now it's international. Now you realize how easy it is just to hop on a plane, go anywhere you want, but also be content with where you are. There's a lot of people, you have to help people from wherever you are.
Hmm. Wow. You're an amazing individual.
You too, brother. You too.
Thank you.
Um, well, thank you.
But
What I'll do, I can send this to you. Um,
okay.
I'll send it to you as this call ends up. But just go for it.
Okay.
Whatever you do, it will make a difference. You see, the biggest thing is that certain times you need like Eric Thompson. You see how he carries himself. So full of charisma. That's the mindset all of us need. Because the thing is, if you're going in too scared, it's going to be hard. If
Right.
you're going in too frail, you're going to be blown over in a second.
Right.
But you have to use your ego to work for you in a
Right.
positive way. Nothing bad about the ego. I always say make it work for you. Because if you don't celebrate who you are, then you just end up being humble. You were
Right.
humble, so humble you didn't even create anything. You nice person. you know, you're so humble you didn't even create anything because you thought, I just want to be humble. Nah, you gotta be dangerous, man. you
Gotta be
know,
dangerous.
you gotta be
Gotta be bold.
dangerous. You gotta be so dangerous. It's like, damn, that was a dangerous move. You gotta do things that sometimes it even like shocks yourself. I mean, that's how I live. Sometimes I say things and it's good. Sometimes it gives you a little adrenaline rush before
Right.
bedtime. But when you're just playing it safe, it can become that's what makes life boring.
Got to keep it like the variety, keep it spontaneous, have fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Wow. Well, Ralph, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Likewise, bro. Okay, connect soon. Take care.
You too.
Okay, peace out. Let me just stop.